What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Chameleons, and we're returning to Script of the Bridge, 1983. Thank you again to Stuart, as well as to a number of folks who commented on the first few reactions, in particular the previous one, Second Skin, which was absolutely an amazing tune, and it seems like there are many people who agree with that sentiment. So yes, I'm enjoying my early exploration of this group, and that tune was maybe the most impactful of all of them thus far. In any case, the next tune is amusingly and enjoyably titled Up the Down Escalator, and fair to say, in my own time, I have often used the phrase up the downslide or going up the downslide to indicate doing something unusual, even against what you're supposed to do, but in the process creating your own experience or challenge that is, again, distinct from the normal way of doing things. So I feel like there's probably something similar at play here. Now, in real life, I would recommend caution when it comes to going up the down escalator, because not only might there be people who don't appreciate that if they are going on their normal directional journey down the escalator, but also there are potential dangers, I suppose. But yes, as a metaphor, or maybe even as a literal act of simply refusing to conform to what is expected or the direction you're supposed to be going, I do very much enjoy it. So let's see what it is in practice. This is the Chameleons. The track is Up the Down Escalator, and it's included on their 1983 album Script of the Bridge.
It's just a sign of the times. They tell me tomorrow will never arrive, but I've seen it a million times. I lost my direction while dodging the flash. Oh, give me a hint or something. If I could freeze time at the flick of the switch, I wouldn't hesitate. No, there must be something wrong, boys. Yeah, there must be something wrong, boys. Obnoxious actions, obnoxious results. Yes, the teachers who refuse to be taught. Distorted pictures and dizzy, dizzy people. You're rushed by me at the speed of thought. The sitters at the tables and throwers and scraps. For Christ's sake, leave me something. And now they can erase you at the flick of a switch. Oh, there must be a way, oh, there must be something.
love it. I love that last line. There's a punk rock song I'm very fond of, which goes something like, when you jump ship, you can either swim to shore or drown. And I think there is very much a similar sentiment here. I think this is a song about not conforming and recognizing that deleterious forces and powerful powers that be are dragging you down. And the more and more you look around, teachers who refuse to be taught, and people sitting at high tables and throwing out scraps instead of providing more substance and more of a place, are again trying to make people who are in less advantageous positions again gnaw on their scraps and not shake the status quo. So indeed there must be something wrong, boys. And I think the idea of all these forces pulling them down, that's the down escalator, but he's fighting against that, he's pushing back against that, and he's trying to go up the down escalator. So yeah, I think it is very metaphorical, but with a visual kinetic reference point. And again, that line at the end about, you either sink or you swim, I think it's a similar concept that, you can't be neutral on a moving train. So you either let all these processes bring you down and put you in your place, or you strive to do something different. You strive against these forces and you try to create your own way and get more of a piece of the world and more of what you might be justified in seeking, rather than again just accepting those scraps and letting those forces pull you down. So I think there's a pretty profound sentiment going on here. I may have missed some lines and maybe I'm missing a key detail, but that seemed to be the essence of the themes. And yeah, I enjoy the vocals, nothing crazy, but I think they fit the atmosphere of the song, which admittedly was brighter than Second Skin. I feel like there's still a bit of this, kind of like new wave edge to it, but yeah, definitely a brighter tune than the previous one. And, in some moments it reminded me of some other groups. Again, if you change the voice, there were a couple points along the way where I was like, oh, I could hear this being like an Echo and the Bunnymen tune or something like that. But definitely a very compelling track. I enjoy the guitar work, which, is sort of like rising and falling melodically, but it had a lot of energy to it. And I especially enjoy, I forget what it was, there was a moment where at the end of a chorus, I think, it sort of took a breath really quick, and he had like a shout-out line, something to the effect of like, he's not going to just go along with this, but it was a, sort of very fiery vocalization, and then it rolled back into the next section. I particularly liked that moment, even if I can't recall it specifically or, the nature of it now at the end of the song. But again, when I have listened to music for many, many years, I like to let a song wash over me. I re-listen to it a few times, and it becomes more and more ingrained. And once again, for those who may be new here, when I do these reactions, they're just kind of in this old school, put on a record, put on a CD, listen to it as if we're in the room together. But I do listen to these songs in headphones, so I'm looking forward to that. In any case, another really good song from these guys. This is a fantastic album, and we're not even quite halfway through it yet, I think. So very much enjoying. Once again, shout out to Stuart. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.